Hello everyone. I apologize for being a minute or so late and for the fact that you can't read this. I have for the past few years been using a filter on Instagram that turned the writing around so that you could see, because I have to have my camera face me so I can see if you guys have comments. And that filter is apparently gone, so you can't read anything that I'm showing you. So my apologies. I should have looked at that ahead of time. I wasn't expecting it to just be gone, but I guess there's a lot of things that are just going to be gone on some of these social media accounts just because of the times. So anyway, we will just power through it, and hopefully I'll be able to find a replacement filter for the next porch/basement talk that we're doing tonight. It's just been like a heck of a day, guys. Anyway, so we have our first meeting tomorrow in a month. So we always take off the first meeting in January. We're coming back. We've got a decent agenda. So let's just jump into it. As usual, we will be getting a financial update from our Chief Financial Officer, Miss Pickle. She does that at our second meeting every month. So if you want to see where we are as far as the influx of property tax revenue and what percentage of the budget that we're at so far in this fiscal year, you should come to the work session meeting at 5 or tune into the live stream on YouTube. Also, if you want to know some other financial information, sorry, I don't know why I'm turning this around. You can't read it. Item number 2 is Red Bank Debt Service Analysis and Discussion with Cumberland Securities' John Werner. So we contracted with him last year sometime. There's no fee associated with any of his services until we actually take out new debt service, and then his fee is included in that debt service. So basically what he's going to be doing is evaluating where we are with debt service right now. Based off of our revenues, what is our capacity for additional debt service? Because we know that there are things that need to be done. We have debts that are rolling off every year. And so he'll be able to walk us through, what's the amount based on our revenues that we have the capacity for, so that we can figure out for this next budget cycle, which those discussions are going to be happening, in the very near future, what we potentially can start planning for. We are going to establish this year our first ever capital improvement plan. And I know you guys have heard me talk about that for a long time, but it's taken us a long time to get to this point where we are able to actually get that established. We had to have all these other pieces in place. We're wrapping up, finishing our first ever comprehensive plan, our small area study of the former Red Bank Middle School property. We're going to be, looking at all of those pieces in addition to coming up with a new land conversion agreement with the National Park Service. So there's lots of different moving pieces here, but this debt service analysis is going to give us the framework that we have to operate from when we are establishing this capital improvement plan. What do we want to budget for the next 5, 10, 20 years? And we'll be able to do that, with the help of Mr. Werner. So really looking forward to that. That is a discussion only in the work session. So if you want to learn about that, hear about that, be educated about how we are potentially going to be planning for debt service in the coming years, using your tax dollars, then you should tune in. Or even better, come to the meeting. Item number 3, accept playground feature donation, valued at $18,876.56 from Hamilton County Parks and Rec. So we had an opportunity to receive a grant donation from unallocated ARPA funds that the county had and they didn't have a place to expend them at this moment in time. And so they reached out to us. The Hamilton County Parks and Rec Department did, and asked if we had any Parks and Rec projects that we could, use this funding for. And we had actually, when we built the new playground set at White Oak Park, we had wanted to add more features. But in case you didn't know this, playground features are very expensive. So, for instance, this was one of the features we wanted to add at the time, but it cost almost $20,000. So with what we had budgeted at the time, we just couldn't include this at the time. So what this new feature is, it's going to be detached. It's going to be a standalone feature, and it's going to be a rock climbing wall at the White Oak Park Playground in that same play area, just standalone though, not attached to the playground feature that's there right now. So I'm really excited about that. I think we had something like that before, and I know some folks were missing that. So I'm grateful to Hamilton County Parks and Rec for this opportunity for us to add that extra piece. So rock climbing is coming for children at White Oak Park. Very excited about that. All right, item number 4. Deputy Chief Isles, because our fire chief is out on medical leave right now. Deputy Chief Isles is going to be giving us an update on fire department goals, goals that they've been working on over the past few years, what they have on the horizon, and what it's going to take for them to get there. So if you're interested in hearing about that, that's kind of a preface to, our budget workshops that are going to be coming up. We already heard from Director Greg Tate on Public Works goals. We did that one in, I think it was November, or early December. What is time? And Deputy Chief Isles will be giving the fire department goal update at this meeting, and then we'll have another one next month. Item number 5, repeal and replace municipal code, blah, blah. I'm not going to read it all because the main point is that it's the food truck ordinance. This is something that from the moment I got elected in 2020, the first time around, we had, people bringing up concerns about the fact that, they couldn't have food trucks. 2 food trucks couldn't even be next to each other within like 2 or 3 blocks of each other or something. It was very restrictive. You couldn't have a food truck within 300 feet of an operating business, restaurant business during their hours, even if it was just like a fast food chain. And we were told by staff at that time, when we asked about this, we were told that the previous board had intentionally made that food truck ordinance very restrictive because they didn't want food trucks here. So, I do understand there's some concern, when you're talking about sales tax revenue. For food trucks, it's a little different because it's really where their main business license is from. So we don't necessarily see all of those sales tax dollars returned to us. But we are, building relationships in the community, offering more diverse food options, potentially, helping support small business owners. So, there's all kinds of positives, to doing that. So what this ordinance is now is they scrapped the whole food truck ordinance from before and just rewrote it. So none of those restrictions are in place anymore. There are tiered permit fees based on if your food truck business is registered primarily in Red Bank or if it's registered in another city. So if it's registered in Red Bank, you'll pay an annual permit fee of $50 and an application fee of $50. If let's say your food truck is registered in Chattanooga and you just come here, once a week because you have a friend who owns a private property and you get permitted and everything, you pay the $50 application fee and you pay a $150 permit fee. So, just to offset the fact that we wouldn't necessarily see all of those sales tax dollars returned to our city. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that. It is an ordinance, so we will vote on it twice. So if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns about it, you'll have 2 opportunities to come to meetings and share those. And so, yeah. So tomorrow's the first reading if you want to come and hear that discussion. I'm excited. Took a little over 4 years. It's okay. That's just how it is. Okay, the next, let's see. Yeah, the next 3 items are agenda items, like actually called agenda items. They're not an ordinance or a resolution, which means we don't have to vote on those. It's more just for transparency, just to share with the community, you know, it's a formality. But just to keep everybody in the loop. So the first agenda item, we just have not just, this is a big deal. If you care about tax dollars and budgets and you want to understand what's happening, Brian Wright with Johnson Murphy and Wright is going to be doing our audit presentation for fiscal year 2024. So that is actually going to be during the regular meeting, but we still have it on the work session, just, you know, to make note of it. So he will actually be at the regular meeting, so you don't have to come to the work session to hear that presentation. He'll be going through that at our regular meeting at 6 o'clock. Then we have an agenda item just letting the public know, in case you didn't already, that the Tennessee General Assembly is back in session as of January 14th. Senator Bo Watson sent an email to the city just letting us know and asked that we share it with the public. So we are putting it out there as an agenda item. And then the other agenda item is reappointing Vice Mayor Berry as our representative to the Transportation Planning Organization. Technically, it can be the mayor or a city staff member, but Vice Mayor Berry was already serving in that role and had been for the past 3+ years. And she had been the vice chair of the board at one point in time, I think last year or the year before. And she's just very familiar with all of that procedure. And so I asked if she would continue in that role, and she was happy to do so. So we are just going to be officially reappointing her, and then appointing, I think, Mr. Grantham, our city manager, as her backup. So let's see. Item number 9 is a beer board meeting. We actually had this on our agenda at our last meeting, but the applicant could not be there, so we had to postpone it. And this is just for Walgreens to get their updated off-premise beer license. Anytime they change store managers, they have to reapply. So this is just because they have a new store manager. So we'll be doing that tomorrow. Item number 10, update social media and internet posting policy. I'm not going to get into the weeds with this because this is very similar to the social media use policy that we voted on last month. This is just an extension of that, and it's more around behavior and actual use of social media posts, what's allowed, what's not allowed, what, is acceptable from residents to comment on, like our social media posts and things like that, what is, appropriate and acceptable. So we will be going over that and be able to ask questions about that. Item number 11, accepting the 2025 HIDA grant in the amount of $19,000 for the police department. This is an annual grant. It's the high intensity drug trafficking area grant, and helps offset like overtime costs for any of our officers that have to work on any drug related cases. So it's $19,000. It's 100% no matching. So yeah, we just apply for this every year and formally would be accepting it. And then last item, approve renewal of contract with Software House International. So this is for $16,807.45. And this is for our agenda management system and our website pieces. So this is the annual fee for that. That's it. It's nothing special. We previously didn't even have any kind of agenda software. Like when you go on the redbanktn.gov website, and you go up to government, the first tab down, it says agenda and minutes. You can click on that and it actually pulls up like our agenda. It'll look like this. And then over to the left, it has individual clickable items. If you want to go to a particular document, you don't have to now scroll through like a PDF to get to that. So that's helped a lot with that. There's some other things that we're looking at doing to help improve how people interact and use our agenda software. One of those being there's some kind of, I don't even know what you call it. I'm not a tech person. There's some kind of way that you can have the videos, like we can have our video live streams come directly through our website instead of having to use YouTube. We've used YouTube we've used YouTube because that's all we had. We've had issues with it in the past. If we can get this other part of the system to work, be integrated with our website, then what's really cool is there's like another feature that can be added to it where it's like already has the timestamp. So if you were like, I only want to hear the discussion on the playground feature that's being added, you click on that one and it will take you directly to that point in the video. So hopefully we will be able to get there one day, but this is just an annual maintenance fee right now. And you know, in the next years, hopefully we'll be able to get to that point. So yeah. Do you guys have any questions? Oh, that was budgeted, by the way. Sorry, I had a note on that one. The agenda management annual fee, that was budgeted in this year's budget. So nothing unbudgeted included on this agenda. Yeah, that's it, guys. I don't know. Today's the day. Today is the day. And I just hope we spend our time trying to live our lives more like Dr. King than some other people. Anyway, I wish you all comfort and peace tonight. Love you all. See you tomorrow.